familiar sound can be heard echoing against the backdrop of skyscrapers. Since 1986, for one weekend in July, the City of Toronto transforms its streets into a closed racing circuit, complete with kilometers of cement walls, metal fencing, and tire barriers. For 3 days, some of the world's best racing talent will come here to test their courage, patience, and endurance. One of those drivers is Matt Clark, a local professional race car driver from Milton, Ontario. He's competing in the USF Pro Championships against 18 of some of the best up-and-coming racing talent.
When did you first realize you wanted to become a race car driver, and what sparked that desire?
I really like that question. The realization that I wanted to become a race car driver didn't start until about 4 years after I'd started go-karting. So most young drivers start in karting, and it was actually after I won my first big international race down in Miami, and the light bulb went off, and I was like, man, maybe I can do this. Maybe I have enough talent to be a race car driver and actually make this profession. So that's when I really kind of dug my heels in the sand and started working towards becoming an IndyCar driver. Yeah, so I started in karting when I was 10 years old, actually a little bit late for someone that wants to become a professional. But after that, when I was 14 or 15, I moved into Formula 1600. So I've always been racing Formula cars. I raced USF Juniors, the first rung on the ladder to IndyCar. And we came away with a win in the championship there. And then this year, the exclusive Autosport, sophomore year in USF Pro, and fortunate enough to be racing all over the US in Formula cars alongside IndyCar. The streets of Toronto scream bumpy, imperfect, concrete walls, everything that a true street course has. I think half the drivers love this place and half the drivers hate it, and it's probably for the same reason, because it's really difficult. There's literally manhole covers, crosswalks, surface changes littered all over the racetrack. So the driver, that brings a lot of challenge. The car's not easy to drive. We don't have power steering. There's not gonna be a lot of grip out there. And we're doing it, all in between 10 feet of concrete. So if you make a mistake, the consequences are really big.
If someone were to ask me about the streets of Toronto race, I think for me, the most challenging track in the entire circuit. It's pavement, it's concrete, it's such tough corners. One of the longest straightaways we run all the way down Lakeshore Boulevard, the fastest some of these drivers go, 150, 160 miles an hour, but you hard braking down into one of the slowest parts of any racetrack we run through turn 3 up to turn number 4 up the hill there. And again, as we know, if you make a mistake here, you're in the wall and ending your day.
It's not an easy track. You're so close to the walls. The surface changes every 10 feet, it seems, and the track's different every year, so it's you never know who's really gonna win.
This place is kind of a loony bin. There's walls everywhere, tons of bumps, not much grip, and the track changes. So it kind of combines all the elements of things that could go wrong. I also significantly enjoy the fans here in Toronto, just because it's a good city, it's vibrant, it's young. People are cool around here. I like Toronto, I love Canada. It's a cool town.
The Toronto circuit presents a lot of unique challenges. Heading down to the Princess Gates, turn 1, super cool scenery. You got the CN Tower on the left, you got the Princess Gates on the right. It's a pretty tight right-hander headed onto the long back straight. You try to get through there, maximize the exit, because you're flat out all the way from the apex to turn 1 down Lakeshore Boulevard. Hit the brakes at peak velocity, probably about 265 kilometers an hour, and you decelerate all the way down from 260 to like 50K. 6th all the way down to first gear. The only corner on the calendar that we actually use first gear, fun fact, you're back up the hill left, heading towards BMO Stadium. You have turn 5 on the left, kind of jump the curb. Turn 6 provides a really unique challenge. It is a really long radius corner, which on a street course, when you don't have a lot of grip, is very difficult. All the way down to turn 8, probably the most brutal braking zone you'll ever find on a racetrack. Those concrete, asphalt, concrete, manhole cover. So getting the car stopped down to second gear there is a real challenge. Jump the curb on the inside, and then you head into the final sector, which is the left, right, left. And it's all medium speed, second and third gear, really maximizing the track there, especially in the last corner. You get this far away from the wall at the apex and the exit, and you've done a good job carrying speed.
One way for a driver to mitigate these surprises is by going on a track walk. Track walks are a critical opportunity for both seasoned and beginner drivers alike. This is where they can suss out the challenges ahead.
Feel the difference here, right? strike you put across it.
Yeah, it's
so much
insane.
smoother and slicker here. So it picks up a lot of grip as the track rubbers in.
Okay.
But it's going to start super slick. So you'll turn in, everything will be fine. You'll hit this patch, and the whole car will just do this until you get to the exit.
And it seems like even like during the traction phase too, like you start traction like obviously on concrete and then you cross over. So it's like it's gonna be nothing, then it'll probably hook up like you're saying. That makes sense too.
The front hooks up first, and so it's so easy to get those snaps and like knock a
even like late in the weekend, I was watching video, and whenever I make the transition, like the car would always like just a little bit, you know, makes it kind of like treacherous on the exit. But we're not very late here, like 350, 375 when the track's good. So like it'll start out 400 probably before, to be honest.
Feel left out?
No.
You should.
Not a pro yet, bro. In a few years.
It's a lot smoother than it used to. Like you have to brake a lot deeper.
Oh, I think they did that last year. Yeah, that's right. I think you're right.
But the general grip level, like at least from the onboard, like 8, 9, 10, 11 is like way higher than it's been in previous years.
Yeah. Dude, it was so bad there before.
James, how important is a track walk?
Track walks are super important, especially like on street circuits when things are torn down and rebuilt every year. Little things can move, and every little detail, every little change can have a huge impact on how the car performs. So on tracks like this hour of getting to walk around the track is crucial.
But I feel like
look at how much camber this has. Like this is gonna have a lot of grip.
I feel like it was off the curb last year though.
That's what I'm saying. Like the track's wider. Almost feels unusable. You know, with the radius. What do you think?
That's where I think you got to play around with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because again, like getting into that in the same way that other curb pulls you away in a bad way, this one sucks you in.
It's gonna be so much grip.
So you can gain usually a lot of front grip by just getting that right front hooked in that inside this part here.
Yeah.
You know how much different it is concrete to concrete, bro?
They got like 8 different surfaces right now.
Yeah, it's bad on.
Like it's gonna be getting
like bro, like this concrete to that concrete.
Yes. So that just like shows you how you really have to get there.
It's insane.
You just have to get through this as straight as possible, pretty much.
Point it early, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like the IndyCar guys are.
This even feels grippier now than this.
The paint.
Which is grippier than this. So
yeah.
I mean, try, maybe not first run, let the track come in a bit, but like second run.
Try jump it.
Try getting pretty aggressive with it and just see.
Yeah.
Like start slow, don't end up over there.
Yeah.
But
I feel like the big boys always run like tire halfway up.
Yeah. I mean, they used to put a stack in the middle so we
didn't go over, right?
Then one year they screwed something up and we literally
cut it, right?
Cut right across there. It was hilarious. It was so like.
I remember seeing clips of that.
So unhinged.
Pretty big area. Yeah. Right? So it's carry the speed in, get in early, let it drift out, and then back in over there.
Probably not much brake though coming out of 5.
Not a whole lot.
So you both have raced here? Is that right?
Yeah,
He has. I never have.
Players, it was a different configuration back in the 80s and 90s, but yeah.
How did you like it?
Oh, it's great fun.
Yeah. What about this track is different or something that you would enjoy?
It's just a lot of the challenge is the confines. It's the walls, and that's the tricky part. To go fast, you got to use every inch of the road, and that's a wall at the apex and a wall at the exit. So you really gotta know your car. You gotta trust your car, and you gotta trust your peripheral vision. The big issue is transitioning from asphalt to concrete. Yeah. The concrete doesn't have the same level of grip.
Yeah, you can even feel it like down on turn 3 with your feet. It's just like slick.
Yeah. There will be. It'll take a while for to get some rubber down. So you'll turn in on asphalt and then slide the nose. Oh, slide to it. Giving yourself a little safety margin to the wall.
Yeah.
You got to get your eyes in early.
Yeah.
Because when you turn, you're basically aiming to knock the wall down.
Yeah. Is there a bit of they do a little curb here, or is it just
I think so.
to the wall? Yeah.
This is
Oh, this is so much smoother.
Oh my god.
What?
So much nicer than these.
Oh my god. It wasn't like, I don't think it was like this last year.
Oh, this was 1 year we came and counted. It was 11 different surfaces from brake on to like exit.
That's a big difference. Yeah.
That sits out annoyingly far. That doesn't look fun at all. Like, why wouldn't they have put it on that side? And this will kind of different.
Dude, this?
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, from here it looks a lot better on.
Yeah, I would definitely still try to use that. It'll be fine.
I don't know. I think the wall changed a little bit compared to last year, so we'll see what affects it. Initially, like maybe less curb usage, but we'll see. Sometimes when you take a few steps back and look at it from a different angle, it can change. So it'll all really be up to practice one until we actually know the answer.
This is Canadian craftsmanship at its finest, my friend. Enjoy.
Here we're like second, like full lift and just touch the brake on entry. And I always feel like here, because of the concrete, you have to turn it earlier than you think.
Yeah.
Like you have to convince yourself that you're not going to hit the wall and turn in.
Because you lose grip mid-corner.
Yeah.
The one thing about this corner is as the weekend goes on, you can start sneaking the entry like a little bit later and later and later.
Okay.
But if you watch like the progression of IndyCar practices the last couple of years, the really good guys, you look at their like overlay their FP1 to P2 to P3 to quali. I mean, I'm talking inches.
But it gets later and later.
It's just, you can creep it a little bit further right on entry and turn in that little bit later, and it just, anything you can get just kind of helps you at the mid-corner.
I mean, it opens the whole thing, right?
Yeah, but it's, again, you don't start there. Start wherever it's comfortable, and then every session just try a little bit more, because this is one of the corners I think that it evolves the most over the weekend. Like the evolution here is greater than I think any other corner.
I'm shocked that it would say that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's wicked.
And as always, as close to the wall as you're willing to get. See where it's torn up here on the left. This is where the outside tires are. This is where guys are digging in, and because it's like torn up the pavement, it's actually going to give it more grip too.
More abrasive, yeah.
The grip sort of naturally evolves to the same.
It's gonna fall there.
How much are you exiting here, Matt? Like, do you use the racetrack?
No, like 2/3, like 4/5, not all of it. But I will say, the entry to the last corner, I found in years past, like anyone who sets up and turns in too late, it's so like you have to be
early corner.
You have to be early. You have to save distance, and like there's more grip there anyways.
More grip. The bumps aren't as bad. You can actually go back a couple years ago on one of the restarts. I think Newgarden was like leading, and he was trying to get a good launch, and he just missed the turn and cranked the wall, race over. So like this one never gets better.
Yeah, we're like out here.
Okay.
And then almost full prep. Like I'd say to like
right at the end
here, but just like then you turn in super. Like you're already turning in now.
Kind of straddle this area. Well. Thank God they moved that wall on the exit back a couple feet a few years ago.
It was tighter.
Dude, there used to be like a light pole there, and so it literally like jutted out right at the exit. And like the first session, I think they wrote off like 3 2,000 cars there. Then the pros went out, they wrote off 3 of those, and then the lights went out, they wrote off 3 of those. It was really bad.
God, okay. Thank you so much.
Make it tonight,
no, don't worry about it.
Have a good event.
Thank you.
Get to bed as soon as you can. Get some sleep.
Try.
Hey man, have a good weekend, all right? We'll see you around. Cheers.
Cheers, Hinch.
The amount of insight James brings is like, it's invaluable. When you have a guy that's not only raced here 10, 15 times, but also done well here, like, it's huge.
Though safety is always a top priority for those involved in motorsports, accidents can still happen. A plaque at Turn 3 remembers IndyCar driver Jeff Krosnoff and track marshal Gary Averin, who lost their lives during a racing accident here in 1996.
My number one priority for Mac is obviously a safe race car, and then with a safe race car, then you work on a fast race car. Visual inspections, crack inspections, NDT non-destructive testing, and then basically throughout the whole season try to keep the car in the best fighting form that it can, so within the rule specs of the series obviously. So we make sure that the car is really fast using some industry tricks. Look back here for safety obviously, because these things do hit walls and stuff, so you don't want the wheels flying off and hurting somebody or hurting the driver. So we have these Xylon straps here. So these Xylon straps are basically little strands that are incredibly strong. And then we have some bead seats. So these seats are actually made out of beads, which dissipate impact. And on the side as well, we have these little foam that keeps the seat from moving, keeps the driver safe. So we have our 6-point harnesses as well, which go between the laps and around the waist.
The Tatuus IP22 is a really cool car. Obviously, it's purposely built to be raced on tracks. We do short oval stuff, we do road course stuff, we do street course stuff. So it's pretty versatile. It's a full carbon tub, almost like you'd see on an F1 or an Indy car. But most of the parts are spec. So a lot of the drivers are dealing with the same type of car parts. They're just tuned a little bit differently. We have a 4-cylinder Mazda engine under the engine cover in the back. We're rear-wheel drive. I think we do about 285 horsepower to the wheel. It doesn't sound like a lot, but the car is really light. You know, with the driver in it, I think we only weigh like 1,600 pounds. So she's definitely still quick on the track.
All right, so this is a T21 Tatuus chassis. So a Tatuus chassis is an Italian manufacturer that supplies the chassis for us. We have the power unit, which is the engine. We have a Elite engines, and the gearbox is a French company called Sedev. So it's basically you shift up here, downshift over here, and then obviously you have your neutral and all your kind of stuff. So it is a very noisy gearbox, so it's not super applicable for a street car. And that gearbox is basically the teeth inside of it are straight cut, so that's where you get that super whiny sound, and also those super quick shifts, which are critical for racing over here, and that will shift the gear. So the gearbox is back here, and over here to protect it, we have the attenuator. So this attenuator is a big chunk of carbon with honeycomb inside of it. So in case of a crash, that all protects our gearbox with our throttle body. And then you have the exhaust. This one is wrapped in Inconel. So Inconel being a super chromium alloy, so it's very good at keeping heat out. Sometimes it's too good, so you crack the manifold. We have the steering rack. Obviously the steering rack is connected, so this car does not have power steering like you would see in a road car. That's why the car's so physical to drive when you're going through corners. The car's really trying to fight to go in a straight line because that's what it wants to do. Right here, this is our brakes. So these are our PFC brakes supplied, really good brakes. And then we'll have a 3-piece head. So we have the annulus here, then we have the top hat and a little spring inside that holds it. And then this is your brake bias. So playing with the brake bias, if you're coming into a corner and you hit the brakes really hard and the front wheels are locking up, because these cars do not have ABS like in a road car, so if the wheels are locking up, you can migrate. So you're basically moving the brake pressure to the rear, which helps either the car slow down better or makes it slow down a little less. Give you a little glimpse here. So we're running Multimatic dampers have a bump and rebound adjustment. What you can do is block off the amount of air or the amount of fluid going through it to either slow it down or make it faster. So for a super bumpy track like here for Toronto, obviously you're going to need the suspension to work overtime. Just about to put the tires on, put the nose on, and then we're going to go outside and fill it up with fuel. Make a hole! Okay.
Watching Mac rise through karting into entry level, Formula Ford, into F4, and then into the road to Indy, it's honestly surreal. It's a running joke with us. I ask him all the time if he wants to quit, because it's a lot for everybody involved. But his passion and his talent just keeps showing itself at every level. He's able to change, adapt, and win in everything we've ever put him in. So it's just kind of surreal. It certainly wasn't planned.
Having my father help me, not just help me, but be alongside me fighting for my dream means the world. No one works harder than him at my dream. I joke with him all the time, like, he puts more effort into my racing program than he does his own business. It is 100% a team effort, and I would not be sitting here today talking to you without my father. And it's not just him either. I mean, if Mama wasn't on board, it wouldn't be happening either. And my little brother as well. They're so supportive of what I do, and they help me compete at the highest level.
His home track is Moseport, and that's where we're all from too. And so we've watched them running 1600s all the way up and that. So we always keep track of our guys. Outgoing and that, both his father and him. And whenever you write to them or so, they always come over and talk to you and always say hi. But very personable, come from like small, don't have lots of money, but always moving up. It's always great to watch them come out running all the time.
It's really cool to see where Mac is, because I really think that he can actually advance to becoming an IndyCar driver and potentially winning the Indy 500 or the championship. There's no reason why he couldn't do that. He certainly has a skill set. It's just a matter of like finding the resources to actually make that happen, which is always that's the difficult part in racing. It's not a cheap sport. I mean, it's a team. You got to hire all these people. You got to get them to different places. You got tires and parts, and hopefully you don't crash and hit the wall, because that could be 20 grand, 30 grand of just gone, crash damage.
Unfortunately, in racing, the costs are exponential. So, we've been hustling for 10, 12 years trying to keep Mac on track. And next year, the budget doubles. So all the work we've done in 10 or 12 years, now we have to, fast track that into less than 1 year, because we need to find twice the amount of money. So a lot of work.
I have lots of media stuff going on. I think we're on breakfast television tomorrow morning, lots of radio interviews, signing autographs for fans, that kind of thing. So it's a little bit hectic. At the same time, we're always trying to fundraise for our program. So that's like a job away from the track.
It's not just a sport where drivers have to go fast. They do have to do that, but in order to do that, there's so much work that goes into that.
In the car, he's absolutely fantastic. We know the talent he has. He's won races and championships all the way through his career, but he's also unbelievably consistent. This year now, here 2025, he's got 9 podiums coming into Toronto in 14 races. So he's been on the podium more often than not, and what he does outside of the car is the other thing he has. He's so good with the media.
We'll introduce drivers from all of the different series, and we'll have opportunities for you to do a little Q&A with them. We'll have opportunities for some one-on-ones afterwards as well. Jeff Atkinson, welcome. Do you have some opening remarks you'd like to share?
Thanks, Todd. Welcome to the 2025 edition of the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. Very excited to be back here in the city. I know the drivers have a great competitive lineups throughout all the series. 2 great Canadian series.
Some of our drivers who have joined us up on the podium. We'll start at the far end from the USF Pro 2000 series. Matt Clark from Exclusive Autosport. This is old routine for you. You've coming back to Toronto again. You've been here a few times before.
Yeah, it's nice to be back in the hometown, my 3rd year in a row, and I'm really looking forward to the challenges that the streets of Toronto will present for us.
New team this year with Exclusive Autosport. Some success too. A whole bunch of podium finishes. Are you going to be on the top step this weekend?
I mean, that's always the goal when we show up, right? I mean, this guy's had a really good year so far, and we're kind of chasing him down across this final 4-race stretch. So hopefully we can have a good weekend, continue our podium streak, and end up on the top, like you said.
Is it pressure or motivation being at home?
Honestly, Todd, I think it's a bit of both. Any driver that says they don't feel pressure at their home race is just lying to you. Being at home in front of, friends, family, sponsors, supporters, it's a lot, but at the same time, you have to embrace it. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think I'm going to try to feed off the energy of everyone around me this week.
It's been really special, man. With the home race comes a lot, sometimes a little bit out of pressure, but I try to feed off that pressure. We've been really busy. At the top, we got my Motorsports cap, one of my biggest sponsors. I always keep rocking it.
Okay, slay. That was so good. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Bye, guys.
How things go today?
It was good. I think practice was a great way to start the weekend. Just kind of slowly built momentum. I think before we boxed, we were in a P2, P3 position. Car's quite good. We're going to work on that for qualifying, kind of build on what we had in FP1, and we'll go out there and see what we got. Hopefully we can fight for the pole.
How are you feeling today?
Good, man. I mean, it's been busy. A lot of media stuff going on, but I'm going to take some time now before quality, decompress a little bit, get my head in the right space, and go for it.
Heads up. Heads up.
In this USF Pro 2000 program, Frankie Mossman 7th, Max Ruck will not be happy to be back in 8th position. Michael Costello 9th, and Ariel Elkin 10th. Rose Mateo rose 4 and 5.
Not were either of them really expected to be in this qualifying car.
No, crash on Friday, win on Sunday.
Oh, at least I didn't walk. It could be worse.
See?
Didn't crash. The car is okay. Cheers, Peter. Thank you.
Over there that takes care of our tires, so it gets the tires ready for us and pressurized, so I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And then obviously I speak with Joe a lot. Joe is the engineer on the car, and then it's a little tight group. We're not like very much, so we all have to work together and make the best possible outcome for what we're given. So on the car, we have a lot of stuff that are made for planes originally, which is ironic because race cars almost use up more parts for airplanes than airplanes actually do. So over here you'll see an AN line, so it stands for Army Navy, which is the same that you will find universally for any kind of plane really that is hydraulic pressured. And then the hardware as well, you'll run NAS bolts, which is National Aeronautics Standard. So these bolts are stainless steel with the zinc coating on them that makes them super tough, and also it kind of blocks off harmonization, so like the harmonics of the car. So what we are doing at the moment is basically the morning checks, so you make sure that all the suspension is tight, and then you make sure that your tires are ready to go, you get the fuel, the oil level, the water level, the brakes function, and then all the electronics, make sure that the race is issue free.
Any driver through qualifying, they're going to want to be up front. Pole's the easiest way to win a race, right? You start on pole, you run away, green to checker, they battle behind you. not really the measure of a driver. It's more the measure of the speed in the car and open racetrack. When a driver starts a little further back in the pack, let's say mid-pack, and they're able to work their way forward, to me that's a really huge accomplishment, because coming forward, you're worried about the drivers behind you. You're trying to time your moves on the drivers in front. You don't make a pass in one corner. You set up a pass a couple corners early. So it's such a strategy game to be able to pass and overtake when you're coming from the mid-pack. You've got to be smart, stay out of trouble, capitalize on other people's mistakes to find your way forward.
Things to know for this morning. They did repave turn 3, that I'm sure you're aware. There are a couple of spots on track as well behind it, and they don't want you in the slow lane, pit lane, to try to get as fast as possible. Fast lane,
I think the race today has just given me a new level of confidence for tomorrow. We made some big moves, some late moves today that really helped us move up the order, so looking forward to doing something similar to that tomorrow.
So I think when a driver comes to, let's say, 10th or 12th and ends up getting onto the podium, to me that's probably the drive of the day.
How you guys doing? Good, man. Are you guys gonna stay later to watch the IndyCar race too? Nice. Where are you guys sitting?
General admission.
That's good. You can get up nice and close to the fence, right? Hear the car.
Thank you so much.
Of course, guys. Have a good day. I feel good. I think that's a confidence-building race. You know, I think we had really good pace at the end of the race. We were able to show that when we got in some clean air. I think we were second fastest race lap, only a few hundredths off first. So we have a good car, really good package for tomorrow. Exclusive Motorsports done a really good job giving me a rocket ship to race around the streets of Toronto with.
Yeah, no, Mac's amazing. He's super fierce, super competitive, and you know, it's one of those things where you just have to support him. Being a local hero, I'm like, let's go Canada. You know what? They've done a pretty good job with accessibility here at the Honda Indy. The advancements in accessibility and how they take into consideration our viewing areas and just getting to the infield and stuff like that. So, good job, Honda.
When I first got into motorsports journalism, I worked for a magazine called Performance Racing News. I actually got a chance to announce here, one of the first major events I ever announced was a Fran-Am race here at the Toronto Indy. So for me, it kind of comes full circle. I've been coming for the last number of years with the USF Pro Championships, but I remember back being so excited and like absolutely thrilled that I was going to be on the PA at the Toronto Indy.
Incredible memory as a fan. Brought Mac and Brody, his younger son, down here. It was when James Hinchcliffe was driving, Mac's hero and actual mentor as well. Funny how that worked out. We came down, Mac was probably 12, right? I had pictures of them on the grid in front of Hinch's car, just incredible memories.
When I was young, I almost idolized like the USF 2000 and the USF Pro 2000 drivers. It didn't seem like they could get any cooler. And you know, those were my thoughts as a 12, 13-year-old boy, and now I'm here doing that same thing as a hometown kid. It's kind of surreal. You know, I look back on it and it almost feels like a fever dream, but having those early memories of literally idolizing, you know, what I am today, it's a pretty cool full circle moment, and I feel lucky.
IndyCar's a little different than Formula One. Formula One's very, kind of like celeb mindset. You can't really get near them, you can't talk to them. They're off in their own world, and maybe unless you have like $5,000 to spend on VIP access passes. Whereas here, you can get really up and close with the drivers and talk to them, and they're willing to do that. They want to do that because it's all part of a community, really. Fortunately, my dad didn't have a ton of money, so he just paid for general admission. And he came up with this brilliant idea. Well, maybe we could get our own little souvenirs to take home. So he created this card, he wrote this card and said, "Hi, my name's David, you know, I'm 8 years old, I like to collect race car parts." And the idea was I'd hand this to an engineer or to a race car driver. Recently went through my collection and found I had brake pads, spark plugs, tons of visors, from some really great drivers like Dario Franchitti. And a few times the drivers themselves would be like, "Come into the trailer." So like Patrick Carpentier, Jacques Villeneuve, I remember getting his autograph and talking to him when I was like a wee little kid. My dad had an uncanny ability of knowing who was going to be really good. And I remember when Jacques Villeneuve was, I think he was racing Atlantic Series. He was quite young at that time. And my dad pointed him out and he said, he's going to be huge. And of course, he was. He ended up being a world famous driver, one of the best. I remember Greg Moore signed a bunch of autographs for me. And when I went in autograph line to get another autograph from him, he's like, "You need another one?" He was so confused. He's like, I already gave you like 8. Like, do you need another autograph? And I was like, yeah, why not? You're Greg Moore.
What none of us know at the time is behind the scenes, organizers are planning to relocate this race to Markham, Ontario. Unfortunately, that means this Toronto Indy might be the last, thus ending a 40-year tradition for Toronto motorsports fans.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yes. Wow. Pleasure. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Mac. I'm one of the race directors. Pleasure meeting you. Good luck. I worked with the other dad. Heads up. Heads up.
Race 2 this morning, we knew we had our work cut out for us. We started 11th place. I think by lap 4 or 5, we were up to about 5th. And then unfortunately we had contact from a driver behind, which put us in the wall. So not our day today, but nonetheless, you know, kind of happy with the pace that we showed, and still pumped to have a podium here yesterday in front of the home crowd.
His race pace was fantastic. He was the kid that passed the most cars in both races. We had a podium in race 1 coming from P8. We were up to P4 from P12, which is incredible on a street course. Unfortunately, a driver made a mistake around us and ruined our race. He ended up P10. Incredible results.
The tough weekends are the ones that build the mental character and the character itself, right? The easy weekends, the winning weekends are easy. You don't grow that much when you win races. It's when you have really tough weekends and can bounce back after that, that really starts to develop the character of a driver, the mental side of a driver. When I see them bounce back from a really tough weekend, maybe a huge wreck, and come back and win the next weekend, to me that's massive. That means they've been able to control their anger, their disappointment, and then rally it and focus it on the next weekend.
I love watching Mac. You know, he puts the helmet on, goes into a different mode. He's very good at what he does. He's definitely in the right job. My heart's just exploding in my chest out there, man. Like, I love watching him race.
Does it make you proud?
It makes me the proudest dad in the world.
So how do you handle disappointment when you don't get to where you want to go, and how do you move forward from that point?
I really like this question about handling disappointment because it happens a lot in racing. There are a lot more losses than you are wins. It's not like most of the team sports, like, you know, hockey, baseball, football, where you're playing against one team, and I'd say on any given day your odds to win are around 50%. Well, in racing, you're competing against, you know, 20 plus other drivers that also want to win. So your odds dramatically decrease from 50 down to like 5%. Bad results with a little bit of disappointment, I think you need to keep your eyes on learning. When you have a bad race or you make a mistake, and that's the worst feeling for me as a driver, right? When I make the mistake, because it hurts the most. You can't dwell on it for too long. I think you need to be, you know, mad, kick yourself a little bit, learn from it, don't do it again, and move on very quickly. I think you have to have a short-term memory to be an athlete at any level.